There was no city life. There were no shops. And of course, there was really no television until I was in my teens. But it was a country life. This is Blakeney Point. So and we sailed in the pit here. When my father was alive. And then we'd walk across to those sand dunes, carrying all our swimming clothes and the picnic and everything. And as the tide went out again, we'd sail back, moor the boat in the creek, and then walk up in the mud, and then walk back to our car. And crank start it, and go back home. The big sand dunes, they probably don't look very big to you, but actually they are quite tall. You can jump off the top and jump sort of 30 feet and land in the soft sand, so it's great fun. But I used to run up and down them for exercise, and I would think nothing of running 10 miles or so. Yes, I mean, running taught me about determination, about not giving up, and particularly not giving up when everything seems hopeless and everything's against you and everything's difficult. That's the time you must double down, as they say, really go for it, because success or the end is just around the corner. It didn't hurt as much then as it does now. So you can live here very cheaply, and we did. And we grew our own vegetables and had our own chickens. And we didn't have a fridge till I was about 12. So quite self-sufficient. I really enjoyed painting. I did a few paintings. So I didn't paint it here, I painted it from memory. But there was the odd boat and nobody else, no cars, nothing else. And then this was the centre page of the centre spread of the Eagle comic. And there it is, there's the painting. I won a very heavy battery radio with big valves in it. There we are, that's it. I did it from memory. I think I did it from memory. Can't remember now. So this is the main school building, called Big School. Don't know why. And we're about to go into the assembly hall. Here we are. Great. John Tusser, my dad taught him, Hodgkin of the Nobel Prize. My brother there. I naturally followed in his footsteps. There's my CBE. So we're going upstairs to the headmaster's office. This is where you got sent when you were naughty. But this is my father's classroom. He was head of classics. Yes, my father taught here, and apparently he had throat cancer and then lung cancer, but apparently he couldn't really speak, so he had a loud hailer of some sort, so he could teach people. It seems unlikely to think you would need one in a room as small as this, but I suppose there would have been 20 of us in here, probably, with old-fashioned desks with inkwells and ink splodges all over the desks. I fell asleep there once, and the lovely classics master threw a blackboard rubber at me. Didn't fall asleep after that. It hurt, actually. So here are the Gresham's chapel. My father's memorial service was held here, and I think I sat there. I couldn't quite understand why I had to come to his memorial service and sit amongst the boys, but anyway, that's what I did. And over there is a plaque to my father. Since he was the head of classics, it's in Latin, of course. Major Alec Dyson died in 1956, born in 1913. He fought in the Burmese army. He was a master of Latin and Greek and a sailor, and his wife Mary, and father of Alexandra, Tom, and James. The careers master asked me if I liked the outdoors. Well, I mean, I grew up here in the outdoors, so of course I like the outdoors. He said, I think you should be an estate agent. I went to see an estate agent in Cambridge who said I ought to be an artist. But I quite wanted to be a surgeon myself. So I went to St George's Hospital for an interview. The doctor there said, you should be an artist. So having been told by two people to be an artist, I thought I should be an artist. I rather stupidly cycled through this hedge once, showing off, wearing strapped sandals, and I ripped my big toenail off. I did hockey, rugger, and athletics. Yes, I used to win the mile and the 3 miles. I started the 3-mile race. So we're just leaving the sports field and the rugby pitch and coming into the school woods towards the school theatre. We did a Shakespeare play every summer. My father used to produce the Shakespeare plays. Before I came to the school, I used to go down and help him do the makeup. I can't believe I helped him, but anyway. I think I came because there were ice creams around. And then in my turn, I did several Shakespeare plays, the last of which was The Tempest. But I think the auditorium is pretty well exactly what it was like that Jumbo Burrows built in my day. But it's a great auditorium. It's lovely. My father died, my brother was 11 and I was 9, and we both just started here. And in those days, there was no life insurance. So the headmaster, Lady Bruce Lockhart, said that we could both board here essentially free of charge. But without that, we had no money. There was no unemployment benefit then. So the school essentially brought me up and paid for my childhood. So it's great now to be able to give something back to the school. They're just knocking down what in my day was the music block, and so the school has knocked those down and in their place built the Wilkinson Eyre Dyson building. It's science, maths and art and design all together in one building. It's important to not separate them and for them to be together. Engineering and design are really the same thing. Maths and physics tend to be separated, and you're either a designer or an engineer or a scientist. And really, they should work together and be the same thing. Let's go inside.
Yeah, let's go.
And find a place for Deirdre's rug. Big, huge glass windows, the size of the room itself. And the classrooms are all very light and airy. And for me, it's going to be lovely not separating the scientists and the mathematicians away from the artists and the designers and the robot makers and the software writers. All the subjects in here are creative ones. And they should, that kind of creativity should be something they all share. So this building is, if anything, actually, it's about experimenting and making mistakes, which is what Dyson is all about. It's about learning by experimentation, not worrying about failure, and learning from failure. And I think this building is a wonderful place to do that.